Hello, this is Eden with HelixxVR. Today I'll be reviewing Moss for the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift and PSVR. It's designed to be seated with motion controls, but you can move about to get a better view. Moss is a VR puzzle platformer seen from a third-person view. There is a heavy emphasis on storytelling, with the story being narrated from a storybook with some scripted in-game scenes. You control Quill, a mouse going on an adventure to save her uncle. Controlling Quill feels almost like a standard puzzle platformer. You can make her run about, jump, attack with her sword, and dodge. At the same time as this, you're also playing as the reader. You can use the motion controllers to interact with the environment in various ways, raising platforms, twisting towers, holding enemies, even giving Quill a high five. While a lot of people are skeptical about third person in VR, Moss actually pulls it off very well. It gives you a sense of presence as the reader with its immersive environment and how you interact with it. It's brought to life by the little details such as causing ripples in the water, the leaves rustling as you brush them, and even having Quill look at you and make gestures to communicate. You're actually your own character as well as controlling Quill. Moss has a good level of difficulty, I found. It starts off easy and turns it up slowly as you progress, adding in new elements every so often. Most of the puzzle elements are reasonably straightforward, but I have had to experiment and think for a few minutes. The platforming is well done too. Simple, but very responsive and works well for the most part. Not much is really explained in Moss, so there may be some head scratching from that. At one point I was quite confused as something which to me looked like a collectible item didn't seem accessible. It was actually a switch that was activated in a way I hadn't come across yet, rather than the standard pulling a lever. As a nice extra, you can find collectible items too. These are sometimes hidden quite well around the level, or sometimes just a bit more difficult to get to. This game is mostly about the platforming and puzzles, but there are enemies. Sometimes the enemies are part of the puzzles, moving them around to activate switches and such. Sometimes it's just outright combat. Quill can dodge about the level, attacking enemies with her sword to defeat them. You, as the reader, can help her in a few ways. You can hold the enemy still, or drag them around to give Quill less to deal with. You can heal Quill too, by interacting with her. My personal favourite is that you can control enemies to shoot at each other. This is used both in combat and puzzles. Graphically, the game is quite nice. It's not realistic graphics, but a more animated style. The game seems to default to low settings, even on a high-level graphics card, so make sure to adjust this in the settings if needed. The audio is definitely worth praising. The voicing for narration really helps put you into the scene, as do the background sounds. There are a couple negatives I have to point out. Using the Vive, the trackpad really isn't designed for this type of game. It took me about 30 minutes to get used to using it smoothly personally, and it's still not as good as using a thumbstick. Another HelixxVR member started the game on their Vive and moved to the Oculus because of it. I feel like the PSVR crowd wins here, as they use a traditional gamepad which also acts as a motion controller. If you're absolutely stuck on some platforming on the PC version, a workaround is to use an Xbox controller for movement in combat. You'll need to bring out a motion control to interact. Obviously this isn't ideal. Now a minor downside I've found is the loading times. They can be about 15 seconds at times. While this doesn't sound long, it does feel it while in VR. The game takes a few hours to complete, more if taking it slowly and getting all the collectibles. The pricing of the game is quite high for the amount of time played, coming in at $30, €25 or £24. That said, the quality is high enough that I feel it justifies it as long as you enjoy the genre. I personally enjoyed playing through Moss. I do enjoy platformers, though I'm generally not much of a puzzle fan, but it kept me interested throughout. I'm quite impressed by how they've mixed what's almost a traditional puzzle platformer with VR. Once again, this was Eden from HelixxVR. If you'd like to see more content like this, please remember to like and subscribe.